With YouTube demonetizing independent media, please consider becoming a patron today for just $1 per month. Link below. Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo, and man, I understand the desire for e-fame. I do. I've been doing this 6 years, full-time 3 years. And the quest for more fame does come to many of us who do this. Sometimes in bad ways, sometimes in worse ways. I don't know if one could ever argue that the pursuit of fame is ever a noble act. To be honest with you, I don't think you can ever do that, especially when you do it with kids. You use your kids to get famous. It's one of the things I can't stand is when you use that particular tactic. And that's what we find right here with Lil Tay, who is a Instagram celebrity who has been outed because she's been coached on what to say. Now, she's very much an Instagrammer of the vulgar variety, a little 9-year-old girl flexing cash, flexing cars, and it just became this thing. And people are now calling her out for being a fake, saying Lil Tay exposed. But that's not the argument here, in my opinion. But let's get into it. All right, it says that a video has been leaked on Twitter showing Instagram celebrity Lil Tay getting coached on what she should be saying by her brother Ricey. In the outtakes video released by hackers and posted by internet drama monger Keemstar, I think that's a fair assessment for Keemstar, Ricey appears to feed lines directly to Lil Tay, saying, "You broke-ass bitch. You out here trying to be like me," he says as Lil Tay stares off into the distance. "You need to be more ignorant," he tells her, before she jumps back into character. In another clip, Lil Tay screams, "Mommy, stop, I was filming." The context for the situation isn't available, so it's unclear exactly what happened. No, I'll tell you exactly what happened. Filmmaking is an intensive process. We get into it, right? When you're an actor, even if it's method or whatever. When you're acting, you get into it. Like you're dead set, you're laser focused on what's happening. I do this all the time. Like I will be in a recording session, I'll need to bust out like my 3 videos, or if I'm doing both channels or whatever. And if I get distracted, I get pissed because I'm in the mode. I'm in that mindset. I'm working and someone's distracting me. So I'm assuming you got a 9-year-old girl who's, trying to like listen to direction, listen to her brother talk, listen to these things, and then her mom interrupts it and she kind of has an outburst. It happens to everybody. I recommend the Christian Bale Terminator Salvation rant against the gaffer. That's an epic one in many cases. But what we see here is the video here by Keem. I'm just gonna play it for you guys so you can see exactly what's being said here.
Go back and say like, no, wait. Go back and say like, no, you broke ass bitch. You out here. You were out here like with your irrelevant ass. You making a video on me? Like, bitch, I'm way more irrelevant than you. You're trying to be relevant and you're trying to be like me.
Mommy, stop! I was filming! Lil Tay be popping on YouTube right now.
No. Redo. You need to be like more ignorant. You have to be like, ooh, Lil Tay out here. Wait, what did he say again?
You still irrelevant, like I said last time. What do I say? I'm a trend maker and you a trend follower. You a Lil.
That's it. That's just a little bit. Just as a snippet of what I can only argue would be or assume would be a very interesting life led by this girl who finds herself thrust into the spotlight with internet fame, playing up a character that is just done for shock value, done for the shock and awe of, oh my God, a 9-year-old is dropping these bombs. A 9-year-old is flexing with a wad of cash and a $200,000 automobile. It's sad when you look at the behind the scenes of it. It's almost like she's a circus performer, and she doesn't quite understand and grasp what's happening. She's 9. She just wants to please her older brother. She just wants to please her parents. She knows people are making money off of her, and she's getting the attention. It's what 9-year-olds want, except it's being done in a very destructive manner, in my professional opinion. Now, one of the Twitter replies in the thread by YouTuber at Nathan Gamble and Geese, who paints Ricey as desperate for viral fame, says he's literally spamming the comment sections trying to get subscribers, spamming the URL to SoundCloud. YouTube account or Twitter mentions tends to annoy viewers more than attract attention. Ricey has deleted all videos on his account except for one 7-second clip that says, "I did nothing wrong. They all lying." Yeah, I'm going to sit there and go, no, that is not what happened here. But let's stop for a moment and look at this from the situation as it presents itself. Okay, people have been attacking her quite a bit, right? Like, I did a video a couple weeks ago about her mom losing her job as a real estate agent because of these videos, right? Her mom was found out and she was basically doxxed and she lost her job. And I said, that's not right. And now we find out that this whole thing's a performance art piece. It's an act. And even though Ricey's going to come out and be like, oh man, they lying, I didn't do nothing wrong, it still is an act because they have to maintain the ghetto cred. It becomes a problem in this particular regard. This is a moment when I would argue that people should be looking at the situation very similar, although not to the same extent, but very similar to how Daddy 05 treated their kids. All right, they use their children as a commodity, and in some respects, they still very much are on the Family 05 channel. Go take a look at that nowadays and see just the thumbnails and how they're all back. Heather and Mike are once again back to making it about about what the kids did wrong in order to use that as a way to draw in viewers, right? They're back to their old tricks, maybe just not as hyperbolic or excessive as they were a year ago when they were found out and everything for them went to hell. But this is a very similar situation. People love kids. People like seeing kids on television. They like seeing kids on YouTube. They like seeing kids who say the darndest thing. That was a very popular show way back in the day. Kids come out there, they ask questions, they give childlike responses, and that's it. But here in the digital age, you have to have shock and awe in order to get ahead. You do. I fully admit that in my early days of YouTube, I was way more out there than I am now. I didn't care what I said. I just said whatever I felt I had to in order to make the biggest splash that I could in order to get the most attention. It is a very terrible and destructive path to go down, and one that I ultimately regret because it's not who I am as a person. And here you've got a guy who's desperate for fame using his 9-year-old sister as a catalyst for that. He's telling her, say you're ignorant, say you're dumb, say you're this, drop the N-bomb, do this thing, act this way, play it up, and that is her. You could see her like, okay, what's my line? And she's looking at him and she's trying to, get what he's saying. And she's listening to the direction of her older brother, who I'm going to assume she's probably like absolutely head over heels for in terms of just love and admiration, right? It's her older brother. To her, he's the absolute world. And he's using her as a way to get ahead. And I think that's pretty goddamn despicable, if you ask me. Right? Like when I had my daughter, there was asks, are you going to do a dad vlog? And I thought about it and I maybe did a couple, but then I started thinking back to the Daddy 05 thing and all the other stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to put my kid through that. Like, like I don't want to use my kid for cheap clicks and views. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to. I love my daughter. She's 6 months. She's beautiful. And I want to keep her that way. I don't want her involved in this shit. And that's why I chose to not go down that path. But here we've got a person who clearly found a lucrative angle in order to sell a product. And that product is his flesh and blood. That product is his sister. I mean, it's not her fault at all, by the way. She's clearly a victim in this. And it's one that I do think YouTube needs to, or not YouTube. Well, no, YouTube and Instagram probably need to look at. To question whether or not this does violate any kind of child exploitation laws, about whether or not this is something that might be violation of the terms of service or violation of just any kind of, I don't know, like legal statute or legal issue. I'm not a lawyer, clearly not a lawyer, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like, I feel bad for Lil Tay. I feel bad that she finds herself in this situation. I hope to God that one day she can be back doing this if she wants to, but be herself and still find the crowd. It's going to be difficult because this is what she's known as, but I think with enough work and enough time and dedication, she could probably be herself, because you could see that this kind of attitude is going to probably really work her over for life, because the older you get, she's going to be known as a child star who dropped the N-bomb constantly and tossed around hundos and whatever, flex cash. Ultimately, that's probably not where you want to end up your life in down that path. But hey, what do I know? What do I know on this one? I'm just a guy who watches this kind of stuff constantly and has an opinion. But what do you guys think here? I am very curious to know your thoughts. Do you think that this is no big deal? Is it a big deal? Is there exploitation? Is this child abuse? Is it nothing? Should we just let it happen the way it happens? This, whatever. I am very curious to know your thoughts because this should be fascinating. That being said, be sure to, thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel. If you want to support the channel right now, one of the best ways is through Patreon or by spreading the video around. And if you want to watch more content from me, and I hope you do, you can do so right now.